Bedminster, New Jersey app. U.S. President Donald Trump on Saturday blamed many sides for the violent clashes between protesters and white supremacists in Virginia and contended that the hatred and bigotry broadcast across the country had taken root long before his political ascendancy. His comments drew criticism, with Democrats and some Republicans calling on him to specifically denounce white supremacy and racially motivated hate by name. The Charlottesville mayor assessed the chaos that led the governor to declare a state of emergency, contending that Trump's campaign fed the flames of prejudice. Trump, on a working vacation at his New Jersey golf club, had intended to speak briefly at a ceremony marking the signing of bipartisan legislation to aid veterans, but he quickly found that those plans were overtaken by the escalating violence in the Virginia college town. One person died and at least 26 others were sent to the hospital after a car plowed into a group of peaceful anti-racist counter-protesters amid days of race-fueled marches and violent clashes. And officials later linked the deaths of 2 people aboard a crashed helicopter to the protests, though they did not say how they were linked. Speaking slowly from a podium set up in the golf clubhouse, Trump said that he had just spoken to Virginia's Democratic governor, Terry McAuliffe. "We agreed that the hate and the division must stop, and must stop right now. We have to come together as Americans with love for our nation and true affection for each other," he said. People fly into the air as a vehicle drives into a group of protesters demonstrating against a white nationalist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, August 12, 2017. Ryan M. Kelleth Daily Progress via app. "We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry and violence on many sides, said Trump. "It's been going on for a long time in our country. Not Donald Trump, not Barack Obama. It's been going on for a long, long time." The president said that what is vital now is a swift restoration of law and order and the protection of innocent lives. After completing his statement and the bill signing, Trump then walked out of the room. He ignored reporters' shouted questions, including whether he wanted the support of white nationalists who have said they backed him, and whether the car crash in Virginia would be declared to be terrorism if it were deemed intentional. The previous 2 days, Trump took more than 50 questions from a small group of reporters. A White House spokeswoman did not immediately respond to a request for an explanation as to what Trump meant by many sides. Following Trump's comment, several Republicans pushed for a more explicit denunciation of white supremacists. "Mr. President, we must call evil by its name. These were white supremacists and this was domestic terrorism." https://t.copapniparao. Cory Gardner at Sen. Cory Gardner, August 12, 2017, Colorado. Sen. Cory Gardner tweeted, "Mr. President, we must call evil by its name. These were white supremacists and this was domestic terrorism." Florida. Sen. Marco Rubio wrote, "Nothing patriotic about Nazis. The KKK are white supremacists. It's the direct opposite of what America seeks to be." And even New Jersey Gov. Chris Christie, a staunch Trump supporter, wrote, "We reject the racism and violence of white nationalists like the ones acting out in Charlottesville. Everyone in leadership must speak out." White nationalists had assembled in Charlottesville to vent their frustration against the city's plans to take down a statue of Confederate Gen. Robert E. Lee. Counter-protesters massed in opposition. A few hours after violent encounters between the two groups, a car drove into a crowd of people peacefully protesting the rally, killing a 32-year-old woman. The driver was later taken into custody. Alt-right leader Richard Spencer and former Ku Klux Klan member David Duke attended the demonstrations. Duke told reporters that the white nationalists were working to fulfill the promises of Donald Trump. Trump's speech also drew praise from the neo-Nazi website Daily Stormer, which wrote Trump comments were good. "He didn't attack us. He just said the nation should come together. Nothing specific against us, no condemnation at all." The website had been promoting the Charlottesville demonstration as part of its Summer of Hate edition. Rescue workers and medics tend to many people who were injured when a car plowed through a crowd of counter-demonstrators marching through the downtown shopping district August 12, 2017 in Charlottesville, Virginia. Chip Somodevilla Imager Mayor Michael Steiner said he was disgusted that the white nationalists had come to his town and blamed Trump for inflaming racial prejudices with his campaign last year. "I'm not going to make any bones about it. I place the blame for a lot of what you're seeing in American today right at the doorstep of the White House and the people around the president," he said. Disturbances began Friday night during a torchlit march through the University of Virginia before escalating Saturday. The White House was silent for hours except for a tweet from First Lady Melania Trump. "Our country encourages freedom of speech, but let's communicate our hate in our hearts." Trump later tweeted, "We all must be united, condemn all that hate stands for." He also said, "There is no place for this kind of violence in America. Let's come together as one." Trump tweeted condolences about the woman killed the protests Saturday evening, more than 5 hours after the crash. "Very important for the nation to hear it." POTUS describe events in Charlottesville for what they are, a terror attack by white supremacists. Marco Rubio at Marco Rubio, August 12, 2017. Trump, as a candidate, frequently came under scrutiny for being slow to offer his condemnation of white supremacists. His strongest denunciation of the movement has not came voluntarily, only when asked, and he occasionally trafficked in retweets of racist social media posts during his campaign. His chief strategist, Steve Bannon, once declared that his former news site, Breitbart, was the platform for the alt-right. The president's reluctance to condemn white bigots also stood in stark contrast by his insistence of calling out radical Islamic terrorism by name. "Now, to solve a problem, you have to be able to state what the problem is, or at least say the name of," Trump said in a general election debate. In his remarks Saturday, Trump mentioned the strong economy and the many incredible things in our country. "So when I watch Charlottesville, to me it's very, very sad. Like us on Facebook, get our newsletter, follow us on Twitter.